No, the one I hope wins is DJ Burns.
Nah, he's awesome. That's my guy. That's my favorite player too.
I hope he wins the championship.
DJ Burns is funny, bro.
Yo, bro, top tier.
Did you watch the UConn game last week by chance? The Illinois game?
Yeah, they steamrolled.
That second half run, I've never seen something like that.
That was the greatest NCAA tournament run I've ever seen.
Like, what was it, 30-something to 2 or something like that?
No, it was 30-0. They went on a 30-0 run before they scored.
Now, what is that? Is that just they're better on the court? Is that coaching? Like, how do you maintain that run for that long and that point of a game?
You're just different. You're flat out different. You know that no matter what aspect of basketball you're going to play, no matter what style, because we're going to score. We're going to get whatever. Any shot they want, they get. I've never seen nothing like this. I'm talking about some of the guys are just so open. Like, they're catching the ball. They're standing there with no one around them. It's comical.
If there's anybody in the tournament that's shown they can score offensively, especially last week, it was Alabama. They were in a dogfight themselves when they played Clemson, team coming off that hot streak that no one expected to be there, and then Bama put up, close to 90 points, I believe, high 80s?
Easy, too. They did it easy. They didn't even look back. Once they took the lead, they kind of just rolled with it. The other game right after, they're weird. They're top 5, though, scoring team per game. Like,
Alabama.
They are one of those teams that do score. Them, Florida, all those teams like that, like, they're willing to give up 90 if you're going to make it attractive with them. They're cool with that.
And we know Clemson's no UConn, but does Bama need to do anything different to score that much against UConn? Is it a miracle? Will it not, is there no way they're going to?
They're not scoring 80. If UConn lives on one side of the ball, there's no way. You're going to score on them. Like, UConn, they don't play that well. They haven't played bad yet. So, with what it looks like, they're not really going to take their foot off the gas here. If you're going to let UConn score 90, you're going to get blown out, I think. This one shouldn't be close. Do
you think it comes down to these teams are just praying UConn has a bad game on their own doing, or do they actually can they do something to make them have a bad game?
You have to be disciplined. You got to be willing to pride yourself that we're going to get some sort of stoppage here. If you're going to let UConn get into their offensive, that backdoor cutting, they cut at all times. Everyone's open because they're always moving. Whatever, and then they all score on all 3 phases of the game. Like Tristan Newman, he can hit he'll hit his jump shots occasionally. Stephon Castle, he's a hell of a player. Where if he's hitting jump shots, he's good to go. Klingen, he's real good, obviously around the rim. When you have a 7-footer that protects the rim like him, it's easy. We're getting the ball off the rim and we're going. Like, every time. I don't think Alabama can. That's how they play. They're going to shoot maybe 33s in this game, I give or take. So, that's their style, but UConn's going to get layups.
Do you see UConn shutting down Sears real well, or do you see him just, playing despite him going off kind of thing?
Oh, yeah. I think Sears can have 30 and they can still get beat by 25.
That's insane.
One of those things. Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone touches it, though. Like, the ball's just flying everywhere. They look like their offense is just way faster than the teams can look around on the floor. And the ball's flying everywhere, and that's good basketball.
Out of Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 games, UConn held Illinois to the least amount of points in any game of the entire 4-day span. So not only are they scoring, like we're saying, they're holding a 3-seed Illinois to 52 points. I mean, it really might just take them beating themselves.
This is one-sided, and it's not close. And I haven't seen this in a long time. I watch a lot of college basketball. This is more impressive than the Carolina run in 2009 when they went back on a vengeance tour.
It's maybe a dumb question, but is this UConn team better than last year's?
So they won comfortable last year, I thought. Mm-hmm. They actually didn't have a double-digit game. Everything was a blowout last year, too. They look even more comfortable than they did last year. And they lost guys to the NBA. They lost.
You gotta mention Sanogo. Shout out my boy, the GOAT.
Yeah. What's his name? Andre, attacking the rim at will, playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then you had Hawkins as well, who can just literally shoot
Pelicans, right? Jordan Hawkins?
Yeah. Jordan Hawkins with the Pelicans.
He was nasty.
For you to lose 3 NBA guys, and then you come back and you do it like this is... And mind you, I think they have less NBA talent this year.
Right.
In my opinion.
Which we've learned college, that doesn't mean a damn thing, because college greatness is so different from NBA greatness, and players have been great in one and not the other both ways. Like, people have sucked in college, come out and been superstars in the pros. I mean, who knows? Like,
Well, I thought Mike Beasley was going to be the greatest player to probably ever play the game.
yeah, and I thought Evan Turner was, so fair enough, you know.
I feel like
It's half joking, half somewhat serious for the next 5 years. And you know what I'm going to ask you? Is Alabama a basketball school?
There's no way we're serious right now. No way. No way. If anybody knows me, roll tide till we die.
Football roll tide, by the way, just for context.
Football. Kansas College on basketball. But no, they would have to. But what I would say is they don't have to win 6 titles to become a basketball school, though. I would say that because in college basketball, the parity is a lot more bigger than it is in college football. Because in college football, you kind of know what you get. At least at the base right now, we know what we get every year. You get Ohio State, Michigan. You know, you get your Georgia, you get your Alabama, and then you get occasionally your Clemson over there. Recently, it was just Washington. You know, you always get a Pac-12, maybe popping in the mix here and there.
I'd like to know how far you have to go back to see a Final Four repeat itself.
Oh, wow.
As opposed to a college football playoff where I feel like out of the 8-10 years we've had it, you can get, maybe 8 teams total that are different.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, for sure. And it's been recently, too. Like, that's like a new thing now.
Yeah,
because for
the TCUs and Washington.
Yeah,
you're not going to see that anymore now with all the consolidation of conferences.
Oh, absolutely.
But not a college football show, college basketball show. And then I got to ask you, and maybe more of an obvious question than the UConn being a better team question. Who's your prediction for this game? Is it well? I'll ask this. I'm assuming you're gonna say UConn. Do they blow them out by double digits or not?
Yeah, they get another double, whether it's by 10 or more. Yeah, they roll this one comfortable again. It looks kind of easy. Again, Alabama though, you have nothing to lose. So, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to get beat. There's no pressure. So the worst you can do is not win the game. So roll the ball out. Do what you gotta do.
So we have UConn by double digits is our official prediction here on this channel. The other side of the bracket, way more intriguing storyline to me. I want to call it David versus Goliath, but that would only be in terms of team prestige because both teams have a Goliath down low. Zach Edey, and then obviously we just talked about North Carolina State's guy. But with North Carolina State, I gotta keep saying, because you would think North Carolina is this far, but nope, it's NC State this far. NC State's Cinderella story going against Purdue, who may be a surprise to people because we all thought they'd fold by now. They're not folding. They're in the Final Four, and they're in a prime position to get to the finals. They cannot complain about their opponents, at this point. DJ Burns is a monster, but it's set up for Zach Edey and the gang to finally get to this finals and maybe get the monkey off their back.
They definitely have been balling, Purdue. Shout out to them. They finally have got a little bit more respect out of me. They got to the Final Four. Got 2 games left. You got to play another tough one. NC State, they probably were the hottest team rolling in. I believe they had to win 5 games in 5 days in the ACC tournament, and then they came out and won wherever they're at now. So 4 in a row. So they're on a 10-game winning streak rolling into this.
They destroyed Grambling, destroyed Utah State. They double-digit beat Gonzaga. And then they won by 6 here against Tennessee, but Tennessee's obviously the best team they played up until this point, and still might be going into the finals.
But in terms of just rolling in, I think NC State set themselves up perfectly. You win your conference tournament, you have to play games the way NC State was doing it, and you roll in like this, you believe you can beat anybody this hot. So when you play like that, confidence, that's through the roof. I think they found it though, Purdue finally though. The one thing I'm going to give the credit where it's due. I think they found what they do well.
Getting into that Goliath versus Goliath discussion, is DJ Burns built for this matchup? Is he ready for this prime time? He's a big guy. He's been a monster all tournament. I don't think he's faced a guy like Zach Edey yet. Is he? I mean, it's hard to say undersized, but he might be undersized for this because he's.
Oh no, he's undersized. It looks different. It does. But again, Zach Edey he's a below the rim, 5 foot and in. You know what I mean? He does make free throws though. I will give him credit where it's due. You can't just follow the kid all day. He will knock him down, and he makes him at a good rate. I just don't know if DJ Burns, if he's not gonna get guarded by him 1-on-1, like if it's a kind of a switch kind of thing where he's not playing Burns might be all right in terms of matchups, but if it's like 1-on-1 and it's like a Zach Edey versus DJ Burns thing, I think Zach Edey. I mean, he has to dominate that matchup unless he can get him come out a little bit. You know, you got to make him respect you a little bit from outside. If you make him respect you just enough, maybe then you can start getting them moving a little bit. But if it's a 5-foot post up game, I'm gonna have to go advantage Purdue.
Right, and for context, I before the tournament had NC State for $3 plus 15,000 odds here. So I'm a little sweating this one. And another thing about last game that scared me a lot, they let Dalton Knecht go off. He had like 37 points and held Tennessee to under 70 points. So it really concerns me that they might let DJ Burns eat, and it really doesn't matter because Zach Edey can just double his points, and the rest of the team holds it down on defense. And again, NC State, are they in a position where they feel like they've already succeeded, where they're playing on house money, or do they really still have that hunger where we're the champions this year, no, we're getting to the finals this year? I don't know, and it scares me because that expectation from Zach Edey to get it done finally this year has to be there, and he's responded so far, so I have no reason to doubt he's going to get further.
Oh, for sure. I think he looks like a man on a mission. He had 40. He dominated that game from beginning to end. Like he did his thing, man. I have to tip my cap that way. That kid is good. I even think it's even tough to think they're playing with house money. NC State. I think this late into the tournament, you think you can beat anybody. I think you're locked in like that. Like we're gonna beat. Like they genuinely believe they're beating Purdue.
I think that's true. I mean, you get this far, you can beat anybody. UConn may be the exception to that rule, but
yeah, that's it. And you don't even have to play them yet. So like that's not even in your head yet. We got a different beast to take down. But they're locked in though. Both teams are going to be that's. I think that's probably the better game. But again, Purdue guards, I used to really, really not like them, but they have grown on me in this tournament. That kid, Brendan Smith, he's been killing it.
They have Carson Edwards, right? Am I mixing up schools here?
No, you're not wrong. Okay. When he went on that,
I was thinking guards. I'm like, yo, you hate Carson Edwards like that?
No, I love Carson Edwards. That was crazy. I think he had 42 in the Sweet 16, I believe. He was a hell of a college player.
He was up there. I think we talked about most points in a tournament game, and he's like top 5 all time.
Yeah,
Remember who number 1 is?
Tournament game all time, number 1?
In points in the game. I'm pretty sure if I remember our conversation.
Quick guess, top of my head.
Former Cavalier.
Ooh.
Older. Remember?
Older Cavalier.
Remember talking about this? He went to Notre Dame.
Oh, Luke Herringody.
Nope. Oh my God. Imagine Luke Herringody dropping 60.
60
Austin Carr.
Austin Carr dropped 60?
I'm pretty sure Austin Carr went to Notre Dame and dropped like 60 in a tournament game.
You're right. We did talk about this.
Because he has the most all-time for Division I college basketball March Madness.
And wasn't he like first and third? Didn't he have like a 50-something?
Yeah, and he was he, I think he might have been number 1 pick too in NBA draft. Like nasty by the Cavs. That's when they had the boys back then. That was, that team back then, they were probably sitting there like, this no basketball player, it's not going to get better than this. Brad Daughtry, him, Craig Ela, like, this is the peak of Cavalier basketball. And then some SOB from, Ohio, Akron. Same state, Akron, Ohio. It's just like, hey, I'll play some ball there.
That was the best thing that ever happened in basketball.
Zach Edey last game, 22 free throw attempts. Does that factor into this week where we see a big dip in production because you think that's an outlier? Or do you think the key to winning for Zach Edey is to match that total again and draw that many fouls down low from a guy like DJ Burns to get him out of the game?
They pound the ball into the paint till it hurts. They don't care how they got to get it down there. They will literally throw it up. If guards are slashing to the hoop, trying to attack the rim, they're going to dump it off there. They don't care. However they got to do it. People can cry and moan about it. I've seen that recently a lot online. People are like, oh, they're free throw merchants, getting a lot of free throws. That's cool. You know what, though? They're taught to do that. Their coach, the game plan is let's get the ball to the rim. So
don't like it, stop them without fouling them,
Yeah, you gotta foul them. The thing is, you need bodies, though. You need bodies. If you're a team, you got to be a deep team to beat them, probably. That's why that UConn game's a little interesting, because UConn's not so deep.
Boilermakers, Wolfpack, Tevin, who do you have going to the finals and advancing?
Sadly, I think it's like the girls. I think we're going to get a 1-1 matchup. We're going to get the best player in college basketball, people say, in Zach Edey. versus the best team in college basketball, like people say, in UConn. I think we get a 1-1 matchup.
Well, I hope you're wrong. It's go Wolfpack. It's a dream season for the boys. That's a weird one too because I'm sure they should have been out of the game or out of the tournament before it even started.
Oh, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia had them by the whats and blew it. So it's unbelievable they did that, and then to have this run NC State had, and that's the reason I even put the couple bucks, the $3 on them, because I remember reading somewhere they said that's a dangerous team. That's a team where don't let them get far because they might eat you up late, and they've eaten up some teams late like a Duke.
They beat everybody. Marquette.
They look great against those. They look great against Duke. Like that's a team where I say, damn, like they can beat Purdue if Purdue is on their bull what's Shannon Sharp say? Their bull jive. If they're on their bull jive.
The only team that's broken my heart this tournament outside of Kansas, faithfully the last 2 years, breaking my heart. Houston, man, Jamal Shed. I think that game goes different if he plays. I think we're in a whole different time I love NC State. They played great versus Marquette and those teams, Duke and stuff like that. But I think Houston would have still been a little too much for them. Shout out to Jamal Shed though, man. That was sad though, man. That was tough to watch as a fan. They held Duke to 50 and lose. That's tough.
I told you that I think that was a glaring sign of Duke right there. Is that they even without the best player on Houston, they didn't look like they could score a lot. They couldn't put the game away. And that's a team like NC State coming up hot. Like they're licking their chops getting a Duke team like that, and they showed it. They performed.
Phil Kowski, sorry, buddy. You got put into a blender.
Get ready to learn Big Y and East, buddy. Tevin, who is your national champion? I won't see you before Monday, or we won't see you before Monday. You said UConn, you said Purdue. I'm assuming the result may be the same even if NC State beats Purdue. Who's your national champion, Tevin?
I still have to roll with the Huskies. Purdue, I feel like not that they've gone away from playing good guards. Their guards have played good guards all year, especially even in the NCAA tournament. If you go back, Nolan Hickman, Ryan Nembhard out of Gonzaga, they were very good guards. They play a good Tennessee team with Ziegler and Vescovy, who are a good set of guards who can hold it down. This might, if they can win, they beat NC State. If it should be that way. I don't know if their guards can really mess with the UConn fifth-year seniors. Those are old men. Those kids are true sophomores in Purdue. They were true freshmen last year, both of them, and they play. They add up and down. I just don't think Tristan Newton lets Brendan Smith just do what he's been doing. I don't think Cam Spencer lets Loyner just let him loose like that either. So give me UConn all day in the guard play.
Now, let's say Alabama pulls off the monstrous upset and makes a case to start becoming a basketball school. Does it matter whether they face Purdue or NC State? Would your prediction change for a national champion at that point? If it's Alabama against Purdue, Alabama against NC State? Or do you think if they can beat UConn, they're going to do it?
Oh, if they beat UConn, at that point you're so confident you'll beat anybody. Because again, they're another team where their guard play is outstanding. It is top tier. They have two or three guys out there that can just literally put up 20 a night. And every one of them, too. They can all shoot from three. They can get to the free throw line. So if they take down UConn, they're going to think they can beat anybody. At that point, I'd be picking them probably to win at that point. If you can slay UConn out of here, I believe you're going to win the championship.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but just for the viewing audience, Purdue NC State is Tevin's game to watch, but Alabama UConn is Tevin's early national championship.
For sure. No matter who wins that game, I believe we'll end up pulling it out.
So no Zach Edey championship this year. You don't think no matter what?
No, the big fella he gets far. He puts Purdue on the map. He does what he got to do for the school and their pride, but he gets beat in the national championship by the real team of college basketball, I believe.
Devin, give me your favorite moment of this college basketball season.
Oh, man. Favorite moment of the college basketball season.
Can be anything. Doesn't even have to involve Kansas. Doesn't even have to be from March Madness. Let me hear it.
Oh, man. Detroit Mercy. They were 1-31, and I was monitoring them on who they were going to beat, and they randomly won a night I didn't watch the game. So I truly believed it was my fault all that time. At one point, I didn't watch maybe the first 6-7 games, and then they were like, 0-10, 0-15, and I'm like, no way they do it. And I believe they were 1-31 though.
Didn't they win against a team who was also like 1-2 or something?
Yeah, something
It was
ridiculous.
a crazy game, and it went to almost. I think it was almost overtime, or it was a close game, something crazy.
And I didn't watch. I was literally tuning in just to watch them lose. Yeah, terrible of me. I was blessed to have the college season we had in terms of teams playing each other. We don't usually get that.
Final question before I let you go, Tevin. A little bit of a fun prop question here for the national championship. Regardless of if it's Alabama, Purdue, UConn, NC State, Alabama, NC State, in this national championship, do you foresee these kids coming out and just unloading the clip and trying to go for a scoring and have a high total? Or do you see it locked down, a lot of kids nervous, don't want to make a mistake, and we get a low-scoring national championship?
I think it's a high one. It's going to be high because UConn's going to make you have to play at a high pace. No matter who you are. If you're going to beat them, you're probably going to have to score 75, 80. And it's probably going to float around there. It's going to be a high-scoring NCAA tournament final. Even if UConn scores 90, I believe it's still a high game because maybe they give up 70, 160. That's a lot of points. I believe that. It's just easy money for them right now.
Tevin, I want to thank you so much for being on. This was a fun 3-part series we did for March Madness.
We were late for this one.
And we're going to have you back for a ton more sports. You're a great sports mind. It really doesn't matter what the topic is, but we will have you in on it on the future. Everybody watching this, make sure to follow Unknown Zone TJ on Twitter. He puts out some funny tweets, great sports opinions in the middle. Some I disagree with, and he's a J. Cole fan. We'll maybe talk about music coming up. That'll be for a future episode.
Oh man, I'm literal. This has got me I'll never hear J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar together ever. It's gone.
No, and you'll never hear J. Cole put out something better than Kendrick, so it's all good.
No, Kendrick's gonna say, "Hey, sales."
He doesn't have to. You can say skills too. It's all right. Tevin, thank you so much. Have a great night. See you all. Make sure to follow Hauser Media, Hauser Jr. Hell, even follow Pushing the Pylon because we're going to have Tevin on that too in the future. Tevin, my brother, thank you so much. Great to have you back from Florida, by the way.
Always, Jim. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Have fun watching this last, 3 days of college basketball, and then we all got to be sad because we have baseball for the next. No, hockey playoffs. Hockey playoffs. Actually, I lied. We have good hockey.
Kevin's now an Avalanche fan for the rest of the season.
Yeah, because officially my New Jersey Devils are awful.
That could be a whole nother hour talking about their downfall. But
I'll be logging off on that note, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a great night, y'all. Tevin, thank you so much. Until next time.